Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Harakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Just a quick in transit through the spirit. And as I'm watching Elder Apostle Tahar's video that he just put up 7 hours ago, as you can read it, it's a response to his response. Is incest acceptable in the Bible? GMS Elder Tahar response, and this is a response that the chief priest Alazar of Sakari had did on the statement that Apostle Tahar made. Okay, and what Apostle Tahar said came straight out of the Holy Scriptures. All right, and a lot of people, you can't accept it, or you don't want to deal with it because it's a controversial topic, okay? Or a controversial scripture to you. Now, as I said before, the way we were brought up in this society, the westernized mindset, okay, is totally the opposite to the Holy Scriptures, right? The ancient way, the laws, and how things were done, how things are supposed to be done, okay? That way is not held up as a standard here. That way is done away with, so to speak, in this place, America, Babylon the Great, under the rulership of Esau, Edom, These different, acts and things, that were done, that were, considered to be an honorable act, okay? Act, that you may have, a wicked act that you may have not done because you had morals, you had integrity, okay, you had the mind of to keep this righteous way. These things are looked down upon, right? For instance, a man dealing with another man's wife, okay? In the ancient world, we already knew that was not to be done. But if it happened, there's a law on it, okay? Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter, there's a law on it. Even Exodus, the 20th chapter, when it says that thou shalt not commit adultery, right? Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. You see? Thou shalt not bear false witness. So there was a law on things. The Lord has given us an instruction of things of what not to do. Now, in this day and age, in this society, it's like, well, you can do whatever you please. You can walk around as a brute beast. You can just live your life lawless. Okay? And even though we're in this society, right, we're going to still what? We're going to still rehearse the righteous acts as the scriptures say we should. You know what? Matter of fact, let's get that real fast. Let's go to the book of Judges. Like I say, just bear with me. I'm in transit. So it's the book of Judges chapter 5, verse 11. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of Yahweh, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of Yahweh go down to the gates. Okay? And America also can be a place that is, resemble as a place of drawing water. Okay, when you draw on water, you're what? That is an act of working. All right? So here in America, Babylon the Great, which we know is our captivity, our final captivity, we know, of what should be done. We know when we're in this truth, you should already know of the way of the Lord, what the Lord expects from you. Okay, you try to keep these things to the best of your ability. So what are we going to do? We are going to rehearse the righteous acts. We're going to try to, keep the ways of the Lord as much as possible. Because this world doesn't keep that way. That way, the righteous way, is not pushed. But we know these times will come, okay, via the kingdom. When the kingdom is set in order, which will be on earth, governed by The 144,000. Of course, Yahushai above that. Of course, King David under Yahushai. Then you got the 12. Okay, and then you got the 144,000, the governing body. Okay, and this is what you're seeing being established and set up through the Spirit before these things actually take place upon the earth. All right, dealing with the 144,000. So now, as I just read, we're going to rehearse the righteous acts. Where are you going to find these righteous acts at? In the Holy Scriptures, right? Let's go to the book of, since we're close to it, let's go to the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. It says, For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. And where are you going to find that at? Where are you going to find, the ways of our fathers? Where you're going to find that in the Holy Scriptures. Okay? You're going to be able to understand what was right and what was wrong. Even though the Lord gave you the law, statutes, commandments, so you could tell the difference of what is right and what is wrong, or what is acceptable unto Him and what is not. You even got the different acts of our different forefathers, of the different things that they were doing. Okay, and what the Lord was pleased with and what the Lord wasn't pleased with. Right? Things that different forefathers was doing, and if it was wicked, they would get judged for it. So we're like, oh hell no, we know that was unacceptable unto the Lord. You see? Now you did have case by case situation, like this example with King David. When King David committed adultery, the Lord had mercy on David. Not saying that the deed that he did was, acceptable, but the Lord had favor upon David and, had mercy upon him, although he did take his child. Okay, that was a part of his judgment. Part of his judgment was taking his child from him. All right, but there was a consequence behind doing something that was unacceptable to the Lord. It just so happened that the Lord had favor upon him and had mercy upon him. Okay, and that mercy might not apply to everyone in this day and age. So don't go on the tip of, the Lord had mercy on David for committing adultery. You might do something as simple as, let's just say, stealing from your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? You might get a harsh judgment behind that, right? So let's continue. Romans chapter 15, verse 4, it says, For whatsoever things are written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the Scriptures might have hope, right? So the things that were written aforetime, right, the Holy Scriptures, were written for our learning. So this is how we understand right from wrong. Okay, this is how we understand, the law. Okay, the way how to be and a way of how not to be. Okay, and within that, what a lot of you Israelites are starting to see is, what y'all like to call the controversial topics. These things it's controversial only because the way we were raised and brought up here in America, Babylon the Great. That's the only reason why it seems to be such a big deal. And I get it. Certain things when I heard coming in the truth, I had to be able to accept it, and quick testimony on this one time, right? This is when I started watching Great Millstone was the last group that the Lord had me come across, right? I listened to all these other groups, so by the time it was to listen to Great Millstone, it was over with. I remember a time where it was actually a brother from the brother from Cleveland, right? It's beautiful that brother's still in the truth, but he seen me posting all these scriptures on I was on Instagram at this time, right? He seen me posting all this stuff, and he like, who you watch? And I'm like, I watch this camp, that camp, yada yada. He like, bro, watch Great GMS only. All right, so I took heed, you know what I'm saying? And that was a wise counsel through the Spirit of the Lord, as He told me to. So I clicked on Great Millstone. I started watching, and then it got to the point where I heard the ancient law that came out on rape, right? Now, my immediate response, okay, because how I was brought up in this world, was like, oh, hell no. Like, they tripping. Okay? But when I mean to tell you when I clicked back on that video, something put it on my spirit and said, wait a minute, let me listen to this matter fully. Let me see and understand why that was said that way. When I listened to the elders break, and this is when it was on 34th Street, when I listened to the elders break that down, like when I went back and listened to the whole thing, I'm telling you, it was like the same day or the next day. And the Lord put it on my spirit to do that. Right? When I clicked on it and listened to them, and when they broke that down, I got it instantly. Like, I understood it. I said, that makes complete sense. Right? I didn't get emotional. Right? I left off my emotions from it. And when they broke it down, I said, that makes complete sense. Okay? But I only got, offended at it. The first point was because of what? The mindset as we've been taught here in America, Babylon, and great. But once the Lord opened up my mind or put it on my spirit to say, listen to the full matter of what they're saying, listen to the whole thing without being emotional, I understood it as soon as they broke it down that day, and it been a wrap from there. Okay? And there was probably a time where I did listen to, I think I listened to ISUPK, HOI, IUIC one more time just to click through to see what they were saying and the difference between Great Millstone. And once I did that one more time, I said, oh, I see the big difference, and it was over with. Everybody else they used to pop up on the recommendeds, wasn't clicking on them because I'm like, no, what I learned in one day, right? From listening to the elders, apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, to all the different days that I was listening to all these different groups, you couldn't even, it was no match, And that's all through the spirit, through the Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? So, you got to leave your emotions from this thing, man. You got to learn and go back into the ancient way and see how things were done. And everything that was done that, had a purpose behind it. There's a meaning behind everything. Why different things is done. Okay? And guess what? In the sight of the Lord, if the Lord is okay with these things, I'm okay with these things. Period. Right? That's the mindset you really got to have. If the Lord is okay with this, I'm okay with this. Now, within that, you already got to know that, as Apostle Paul said, everything that is lawful unto me is not expedient. So we always got to bring that out. Everything that is lawful unto me is not expedient. So yeah, according to the law, these different things can be, be done. And, the ancient law can be done. And, according to our law, the penalty of these things won't be as how Esau have done it. But since we are in Esau's society and we're going by his standards, we're not to do these things. Okay? It would be unwise. It would be foolish for you to do these things. Okay? Because we're not in our power. We're not in our kingdom. We're not able to exercise our righteous way in our laws. Because our righteous way in laws, they demonize. Okay? And they uplift their wicked ways and things of that sort. Okay? So that's why the Apostle Paul said, man, you're foolish if you do any of these things. Okay? Even though we know the ancient law is the way, right? But now you got to use wisdom. You got to apply the wisdom of the scriptures as well. As Yahweh Shai said, what? Render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's. So you got to abide by the rules that is set up in the society. Okay? But within that, you can still acknowledge that, yeah, and for a teaching purpose of, yeah, this is the ancient way. Period. You're not going to leave off from it because and not teach how the truth of the matter. No, you're going to teach the truth of the matter. Okay? But you're just not going to exercise or perform. In other words, if you don't understand what exercising, you're not going to perform these ways. Okay? But I will tell you this, in the kingdom, this is going back to that righteous order. Best to believe that. Okay, so that's it. Lord willing, hope was edifying. Until next time, I want to say shalom.